Welcome to Madison City Channel's Know Your Candidate interviews, co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Dane County. I'm your interviewer, Shel Gross, and I would like to introduce Adrian Lampron, running for Dane County Supervisor in District 1. As we begin, please give an opening statement about the educational, vocational, and civic experience you have which prepares you for this office and why you're running for the Dane County Board.
Yes. Well, hello. My name is Adrian Lampron. I use they, them pronouns. I am an advocate for LGBT rights, environment, and labor rights, and I've been doing those things for a number of years. I am running for the Dane County Board to continue that work and to keep working on the environment and housing primarily, but lots of other issues too. As I have been doing my advocacy, I've spent a lot of time working on local campaigns in Madison, including being a campaign manager for Brian Benford when he ran for alder, and supporting Elena Housel's run for the county board a few years ago, just as a volunteer. I've also worked for Senator Tammy Baldwin's campaign from pretty much 2021 to 2025, and now I work for a small local law firm. And I'm not an attorney, I just do accounting and things like that for them. And so through all those experiences, I've learned that though like working for Tammy is really important and I got to do a lot of cool work, I really love local government, and there's a lot of power in being able to connect directly with your neighbors. So that's another reason why I'm running. And I also went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison. That's why I moved to Madison in 2018, and I love our community, so I stayed and have wanted to keep working to help make it better.
Thank you. What specific ideas do you have to increase the supply and quality of affordable housing, preserve existing affordable housing, and address the needs of unhoused people?
Definitely. Housing is the number one issue that I've heard from folks downtown, especially when I've been knocking doors for other campaigns or just talking with my neighbors. And it's a big issue. I am really lucky to live in a naturally occurring affordable housing place downtown that's a beautiful old building. But anytime I look for new places, it's astounding how much our rent has gone up, and housing prices for buying places have gone up a lot too in the last 10 years in Madison. And so that's really important to me. I want to focus on, at the county level, supporting the affordable housing fund that the county's funds that the county is using to promote new development. Also, there are a lot of co-ops in our district, and I want to continue the county's work to support buying new co-op buildings for the folks who want to live there. And also looking into creative ways we can support pathways to home ownership, because it's so hard to buy your first place these days. For homelessness, I want to make sure that we support services for the unhoused folks that I see downtown every day, and also work on from a housing first model, just getting folks into a place to stay so that it's easier for them to get services, to get employment if they don't already have that. And yeah, I think housing is one of the most important issues for me. So I'm going to keep working on it from both those sides.
The racial disparities in Dane County are varied and widespread. What specific actions would you propose to reduce these disparities?
Yeah, I see the disparities in our criminal justice system as one of the most obvious and disturbing. Like, we have some of the worst racial disparities for folks in our jail in the country, but also in terms of economic outcomes and things like that. It's a major issue for the county. I would be, well, at my workplace now, I work for a small law firm of public defenders, and I'm learning more and more about the rights of or basically the challenges for treatment of folks who are in the jail. And I want to prioritize ways that we can make conditions better and help folks who are mostly not convicted of crimes have a good experience, or have better experiences there in terms of their healthcare and visitation, things like that. But in general, for the disparities in terms of who ends up in the jail and the economic disparities in our community, I think that comes down to supporting the towns and cities in Dane County for education, for the libraries, for job opportunities, and affordable housing overall in the county, but with particular attention paid to racial disparities, obviously, because even at the same income level, people of color are having a harder time uh, making their rent and staying safe. So I want to continue to support that as best I can.
What are your priorities in environmental protection, land use planning, and transportation policy? What challenges do you anticipate, and how would you address them?
So for environmental policy, one of my big priorities overall is moving away from or decreasing our carbon emissions, and the county's already done a great job making all their buildings carbon neutral. I want to keep pushing on that and supporting municipalities, the cities and towns as they do that work. Also in our utility production as a state, I think there's some role for the county to support more renewable energy and things like that, especially as the federal government is making that more challenging. I think it's time for the county to step up. I'm also really passionate about our parks and green spaces, not just for how they make our downtown and places across the county more livable and more beautiful, but also for the impact on water quality because we have better filtration from runoff if we have more green space, and also just help support our ecology. And those are really important things to me. So I want to protect our county parks, continue the county's work to study the PFAS contamination and try to clean that up, and hold polluters accountable as best we can.
The Crisis Resource Center and expansion of the CARES program outside of Madison have been proposed as ways to address the needs of individuals with mental illnesses. Do you believe there are further actions the county should take to address mental health issues?
Definitely. I'm a huge supporter of the CARES model, and expanding that to other cities and towns would be really wonderful. When I was a student at the University of Wisconsin, I actually helped start a pilot program for mental health professionals to respond to crises along with the university police, which was very successful. And I want to continue to do that sort of work. And in mental health in general, well, it's pretty clear from the folks around me and from what I hear from my neighbors that it's a big crisis for just emotional well-being, but also depression, anxiety, and other mental health conditions. So I want to do what I can at the county to support our access to mental health care through like traditional health systems, because mental health is part of our health and is really important. Meaning getting folks health insurance, getting access to clinics and stuff like that, and also supporting peer-to-peer support connections and just getting resources through libraries, community centers, and things like that for emotional well-being. So I want to support mental health on a variety of fronts.
Please describe any other priorities for your term in office. If these include new or expanded programs, how would you propose to fund them?
Another big priority for me would be supporting union labor and organizing at the county, both for our county employees and just in general in the county. I unionized my last workplace with IBEW 494, and that was with Senator Tammy Baldwin's campaign. And it was a really cool experience to see from the start how you can form a union and go through the bargaining process and come out with a better workplace for everyone. And so I want to support that at the county. And that will come down to some budget stuff and mostly just supporting strong contracts and making sure we prioritize our people because they're what makes the county work. And yeah, I think beyond the union, I also want to, or supporting unions, want to work on the environmental sustainability stuff I talked about, housing, and I also didn't talk about transit much earlier, but I am a passionate biker and love taking our public transit. So I want to do what I can at the county to support the city and town's work to increase transit access. It's very hard to deal with living downtown with the cost of rent, in addition to having to deal with a car and parking and everything like that. So the most that we can do to, the more we can do to help folks with transit, the better.
What would you like to say to the viewing audience as we complete this interview?
Well, I hope that the folks watching this are excited to vote on or before June 17th. It's a special election, and I know a lot of us got tired out from the last election cycle, but it's so important to stay engaged with local government. And regardless of how this election goes, I'm going to stick in the fight, and I hope that you all will too. There's so much work that we really need to do, and I am passionate about our environment, our housing, LGBTQ rights, civil rights in general, and I want to support our people in Dane County, the communities that are most vulnerable and marginalized, especially as we're seeing attacks from the federal level on some of on all of us really. And so I think it's time for the county to step up and keep doing the good work we've been doing, but even more to support our neighbors. So thanks for listening.
I want to thank Adrian for speaking with us and thank the viewing audience for taking the time to know your candidates. I want to remind everyone that the special election is Tuesday, June 17th. Every election is important. Please vote. On behalf of Madison City Channel and the League of Women Voters of Dane County, I thank you for joining us.